So, welcome Ayurveda warriors. This is Dr. Hitesh Chaudhary. I am signing in from my clinic in Nasik, and I am on a mission of empowering 10,000 Ayurveda graduates to start their specialty practice so that they can have their unique identity at a global level. And to empower that mission, I am again starting a series of interviews, call it as a Disha, the Pathfinders in Ayurveda. So in this series, I am going to interview many of the experts and stalwarts in Ayurveda who has already set a path many years before for all us as a newcomers. So in this series, my first interview I am going to conduct with Dr. Ravi Shankar Perwaje sir, and he's going to share his journey with us. So I welcome Dr. Ravi Shankar Perwaje sir. Sir, I welcome you here.
Thank
And
you.
I'm just going to introduce him briefly. Like many of you are quite aware about him. Many of you are aware about his excellent and marvelous work in the field of surgery and anorectal diseases. But just to tell in the brief, he has passed out in 1989 from the famous, world famous institute, Banaras Hindu University. In the he has completed masters in surgery over there, and after that he started his clinical practice in the field of anorectal disorders. So after just completing his post graduation, he started his clinic, and he has developed the technique in the field of anorectal diseases as a Pratisarniyak Shar and Agnikarma in different kinds of anorectal diseases such as fissure in ano or fistula in ano or carcinoma in situ or non-healing ulcers as well. So he has developed his own techniques, and like you can see 22 years before he has started this specialty, and today what you can see his greatness and his achievement as he has built up 25 bedded Ayurveda hospital, which is called as the Sushruth Hospital. And he's the founder member of that hospital, which includes this is an integrated hospital equipped with modern surgical operation theater as well as Panchakarma theaters also. So this is the integrated hospital, and it has ICU as well. So a person in the field of Ayurveda can reach to this height. This is the set example in front of us. So in this interview, I'm going to ask him so many questions, and he's going to answer his these questions and going to reveal his journey in front of us. So I welcome Ravi Shankar Perwaje sir, and my first question to you is, what exactly you think, like it was your dream to become a doctor in the childhood?
Yeah, my father was a doctor, Ayurveda doctor,
Okay.
and yeah, my grandmother was a Ayurveda physician by native physician.
Okay.
So in our family, we have this Ayurveda practice.
Okay.
That is
So
why that is how I was thinking of becoming a doctor. Child.
right from your childhood. So it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
inherited in your genes, the practice of medicine.
yeah. That's right.
Okay. So and then like what you thought in your childhood, like what doctor you want to become? The modern medicine doctor or Ayurveda doctor, or was something unique, like whenever we are in childhood, like मुझे कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट बनना है या मुझे like gynecologist बनना है, something like that. So have you set up this your mind in your childhood?
No, no. Like that, actually, we were in the village, remote village. We did not have such this one exposure
Okay.
to understand which speciality like this. These things, when I have studied about 50 years back,
Right.
my school days, we did not have such exposures
Hmm.
to understand all this. Yeah.
But still you reach to Banaras Hindu University from that village. So that journey is really incredible. And then you establish your specialty. So, will you please narrate about your specialty? Like after completing your surgeries, how you started your journey?
Actually, you see, after finishing my MD Ayurveda in Shalyatantra, just MS Ayurveda degree started afterwards.
Okay.
Anyhow, Shalyatantra was the specialty. I had aim is practicing surgery and medicine practice should be pure Ayurveda.
Right.
And surgery, there is nothing like Ayurveda or allopathy. That was my vision. From from BHU itself, we had all the same vision. In surgery, there is nothing like allopathy or Ayurveda. But in medicine practice, definitely our Ayurveda practice should be there.
Yeah.
And that is how I started my clinic. After coming to my native place, after finishing my MD, came to Puttur. This is a taluka headquarters.
Okay.
I want to start Ayurveda practice along with the surgery. So, what happened at that time? Nothing like consultation was not there at that time. The Ayurveda consultation is non-existent. So, what I have started my consultation room and nearby a Ayurveda medicine shop, because if I prescribe, there is no medicine on dispense. Nearby one medical shop, Ayurveda medical, exclusive Ayurveda medical shop.
Okay.
Yeah, not allopathy medical, Ayurveda medical shop. And with that, I started my consultation of Ayurveda. Nearby in a modern nursing home, I plan to do the surgeries after admission. Like that, I have started. I thought I can practice Ayurveda like that with the knowledge of modern medicine and Ayurveda from BHU, and I studied my undergraduation from Udupi Ayurveda College, which was very good college for learning Ayurveda.
Right.
My thought was like that. After starting my practice, within 15 days, I came to know I don't know anything about Ayurveda.
Okay.
Okay. the what we know is only theoretical knowledge, not practical knowledge of Ayurveda was very less. So then I struggled actually. For example, if a patient comes to a Jwara, we think that Jwara should be treated only by allopathy, by Ayurveda. It is difficult. That was my notion. Any chronic diseases we can treat with the Ayurveda, like arthritis or hemiplegia, these things.
Right.
Acute fever, cough, this comes usually in Ayurveda, it is difficult. That was my thinking. Usually, all Ayurveda doctors think like that. If a patient comes to me with these symptoms, I usually refer to modern medicine people, but only Ayurveda, which we can give with the pure Ayurveda treatment, such case I used to take. I used to select which case I should treat, which I should not.
When you started?
Yeah, when I started. So, after that, what I have seen, many Vaidyas in my area, practicing Vaidyas, old Vaidyas. And at that time, about 30 years back, I started my practice. Then there was still existing that old Vaidyas. They used to practice Ayurveda with such diseases, common diseases also they used to practice. Now, such doctors are known, they have already retired, almost all of them. I think that is lost for Ayurveda as such. So, started like that. Then I came to know they are practicing with the Ayurveda medicine. They are getting result, but we don't get. Why? Because our practical exposure to such diseases is very less. Taratama bhava of dosha we could not diagnose because of our lack of exposure on that basis. What we study in the colleges is in a clinical diagnosis, we diagnose cases a viral fever translate into Jwara and give some drug. Amrutarishta or Fibonacci rasa for all the patients.
This is
We
drug
don't
therapy.
do differentiate. They say Vataja Jwara, Pitaya Kapha Jwara, how differentiation and the different drugs should be given like that. We are not, I think we are not taught, I think so. That is why as a student we cannot understand like that. Ayurveda is very difficult to understand like that. As such, by reading the book it cannot be. That is my opinion. So after that I started to read Ayurveda actually again with seeing the patients. So slowly started to understand about 4-5 years took to understand actually Ayurveda means we have to see the dosha, taratama, bhava, veda in different vyadhis. Whatever patient comes with the vyadhi, that there will be taratama, bhava, different doshas will be existent. That we have to understand which dosha is there. Diagnose like that, dosha, vyadhi, viparita chikitsa should be given. Once I understood, I started to practice like that. Slowly, my practice of Ayurveda picked up. Anyhow, surgery in outside, in surgery, nothing like this. We are treating the sthana. It is a hardware treatment. Just dhatus you, that area you see and give the treatment. But when you treat medicine, definitely we have to see doshas, understand it. A given patient, we have to treat. This is how slowly my practice developed. So for about 5 years, I think I have struggled to understand this Ayurveda. Studying different books and different. Actually, patients are my teachers, I think.
Sir, did you have any mentor or guru at that time, like to whom you will follow or take some guidelines from him?
Actually, in our area, I don't think we have any practitioners are practicing like that.
Okay.
Only thing when I was a student, I had Dr. Muralidhar Sharma sir was there at UP Ayurveda College. Was my teacher. He used to practice Ayurveda with pure diseases with pure Ayurveda with simple drugs. I think he was inspiration for me to study MD at BHU and practice Ayurveda. He was inspiration, but I could not get this Ayurveda practice directly from him. Anyhow,
so you learned yourself while treating patients and reading and going through the books.
Yes, that's what.
Okay. So, and what shifted you to start focusing on anorectal disorders?
Actually, in the BHU, we study MS Ayurveda means naturally we study many of the anorectal disorders, especially Kshara Sutra technique we used to practice in Fistula in my thesis subject also same thing, Kshara Sutra in Fistula in So, and another thing is whatever patient comes to me, they come for usually most of the patient comes for anorectal disorder for Ayurvedic surgeons. So what happened, especially about Kshara Karma, if I want to tell you how I have developed. One patient came after starting my practice. After 15 days, one patient came. He told me he's having files. Give me the treatment. Then I told him I have to examine him. Then he told me I have already got examined by 2 general surgeons. They have told I have third-degree hemorrhoids. So you give your treatment. I told without examining, anyhow they have examined it. Without examining you, how I can do it? Oh, I examined you. I told this is the position you have third-degree hemorrhoids. So what treatment you give? He asked me. I told we do surgical excision. I used to do surgical excision at BHU. I have studied surgical excision. Anyhow, at Sushruta said it has to be Chitwa, the head. Have to be excise.
Yes.
So then he asked me one question. If you are doing surgery, no, even allopathy doctors are also doing same surgery. Right. Then what is the difference? Why I should get operated with you? I can get operated with that doctors only. Why I should
Exactly.
operated with you? If there is there any specialty in your Ayurveda?
Yeah.
This is usually encountered this question. Many of the I think Ayurveda surgeons get
Yes.
definitely this question.
Definitely.
Yeah. Then after that patient went. Then I thought if I sit like this, I think all the patients will ask same question. So I referred to the book. There is one procedure, Kshara Karma is there. We all by heart it, we write in examination, but no one practices it. So why even in BHU also, they were not practicing that Kshara Karma technique. There also we do excision, hemorrhoidectomy.
Okay.
What Sushruta said, the hemorrhoidectomy is told, it's a final stage treatment. But
Yeah.
when it is in the second stage of the disease, Mrudu Prasuta Avagada, he says Kshara Karma and Agni Karma, Katina Karkasha Sthira. But we are not practicing. Why we are not practicing? So that query was arised because of that patient's query.
Right.
So I referred the book, and the problem in the procedure is getting a correct kshara. So anyhow, after that I got some patient. I tried the kshara which is available in market. I applied it, but it didn't work. Then I think it happens for all the Ayurvedic surgeons. For Kshara Karma, is apply some market, but it does not work. Actually, because that is Mrudu Kshara, that is not Tikshna Kshara. Actually, yeah. So then I developed, started to understand how to prepare the Kshara first. Before doing the procedure, we have to prepare the Kshara. Right. I started to prepare the kshara for about every time I prepare the kshara and applied in the patient, it didn't work. Like that, by many trial and error, I did to prepare the correct potent kshara. Because no one knows how to prepare it. Only theory is there, practical no one knows how to prepare it. Yeah. Then I tried about 25 times I have prepared this kshara. So for 1 year it took.
To develop the SOP for that kshara.
Yeah, potent kshara. At the end of the 25th time what I prepared, that became correct kshara. When I applied that kshara in a patient, that without anesthesia I applied. I don't know whether it is working or not. I applied that kshara. Immediately patient started to cry because it was potent kshara. Okay. But I was very happy because it is working. It is working. Yeah. Patient was crying. So within 30 seconds, Shatamatra Kala, that kshara bile mass became Jambu Bhala Varna. That means it was working. So then patient went. After that, I started this practice of Kshara Karma in devotee itself with all the precautions, all the bile masses. Initially, I used to do Kshara Karma in a one pile at a time, as told in Sushruta. After developing correct procedure, I understood it can be done in a single sitting with the help of modern anesthesia and analgesia. Okay. So by integrating this modern anesthesia and analgesia, I started to do this procedure in single sitting itself. Okay. So that is how this story of Kshara Karma happened about 30 years back. 30 years back. Exactly, I think 90 whole year 1990 it took for preparation Kshara. By December 1990, I prepared full correct potent kshara. Correct potent kshara. So it took almost 1 year, and now with the help of that procedure, you have treated more than 8,000 patients of anorectal diseases. Oh, that 8,000 I written about 10 years back. Now it became almost 12 to 15,000. Okay. So that is the power of specialty. So you do you think like you are known for the specialist in anorectal diseases all across the country? Do you think that you get that identity with the help of this anorectal disorders and like the particular procedure? I think so because it was very potent procedure. patient gets relief, within a week, a patient can go back to his work with very less pain and less complications. And chances of recurrence is very less. That is why I think name has spread all over this area.
Yeah.
And that is why I was connected to this procedure, with this procedure.
Yeah.
About 8 to 10 years, I used to do myself. After about 10 years, in 1999, there was a conference nearby. They told me to present this procedure because no one was practicing. I did a workshop there,
Okay.
presented to the different Ayurveda practitioners, especially Ayurveda practitioners. This procedure is there. I am doing it. Then that procedure spread all over country afterwards.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And now all the students and all the professors, everyone
Many
was
of the
practicing.
doctors and surgeons,
Yeah,
they are
everyone was
doing
practicing it.
they are practicing this thing. So, sir, my next question to you is this: do you think the specialty practice, like creating the identity with one particular subject in Ayurveda, can give you the good identity or unique identity in at the national level and at the international level as well?
Uh, uh, I don't know about national, international level. I think in the Ayurveda community it may be, but it helps in developing your practice. That's what I think.
Okay.
You see, in the patients community, if our name spreads in a single procedure specialty,
Yeah.
your name will crop up in the minds of the patients. In their discussion, all these things, in home discussion, with the relatives discussion about for disease where we should go. If your name is cropping up, naturally your practice will improve.
Flourish. Yes.
Yeah,
And like I have started my specialty in spine disorder right from day one of my clinical practice, and now I have completed 8 years. And what I figured it out is patient identify you easily when you are specialist of one subject. If you are treating everything, then you are treating nothing. So if you want to be identified, like in the general layman's people or general citizens, so like they always appreciate if you're specialist of one subject, then they will always search for you. So
yeah.
that is automatically reducing the competition because when you started, the Ayurveda was not so popular, but the competition was less. Nowadays, in single area where I am sitting, in 1 kilometer periphery, there are more than 20 Ayurveda doctors. So if I have to stand out, so if I am particular a specialist of one subject, so people easily recognize me among the crowd. So this is my purview till now. And I think like you also said the correct thing, like your name is easily pop up when you are specialist. So
Yeah, that is see the single disease, multiple patients of same disease. If you see, you can differentiate between different stage, avastha, acute or chronic like that. Avastha avashan chikisam kuriyat. Is it avarana avastha, dhatusha avastha?
right.
And another thing is which dosha samsarga is there or avarana by what. Same disease, patient may have different dosha samsarga may be there. Taratama bhava bheda of different doshas. These things you can identify easily. Then what happens? Your success rate will increase, and uh, you can diagnose the case, a pinpointed diagnosis and a specific drug you can select and give to the patient. So it is useful for both patient and doctor. Patient gets early result, doctor gets success.
Right.
This is what. So you can compare like this. आप एक कुएं में कूदने हैं तो एक ही जगह 50 फीट कूदो आपको पानी मिलेगा. आप 5-5 फीट 10 कुएं में कोई कहीं पानी नहीं मिलेगा.
Right, right.
यही होता है. एक ही जगह एक ही स्पेशलिटी है तो आपको वही फायदा है. Yeah.
So, like, what I want to ask, अगर if we are choosing only one specialty, but are we losing the patient, like different kind of patient for different diseases?
Pardon?
If we are choosing only one specialty, if we are practicing with diabetes only,
Ah.
So probably I'm losing the patient of hypertension. Probably I'm losing the patient of obesity. So what is your opinion?
That is not a matter at all. Because these patients will be, there will be rush of this patient from all over different parts of the country, they will come to you. That
Yes.
is not a problem. But your success rate will be in that disease will be better, you know. So naturally, you will not have time to see other cases.
Right.
Yeah.
So with one particular specialty, you can really get a big name.
Yeah.
And now in this the online era, you can really reach to the global level. Not
Yeah.
only in the country, but if someone wants to consult you for diabetes from Australia, so he can easily contact you if your
Yeah.
name is really cropping up very good online also and offline also.
Yeah. That is yeah. And any related cases, diseases also we can see. For example, if it is a diabetes related other pramehas and obesity, these things you can see.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
So
that is not a problem. But another thing is once you are specialized in a subject, you get give good result to the patient.
yeah.
That patient party brings you all the cases of his relatives. Don't think you will lose other cases.
Yes,
Other cases also he will bring.
definitely. So once he's
But it is better if you stick to your specialty and you can refer other cases to other. He also can develop his practice. This
yes,
is you can have mutual discussion and have 3, 4 doctors. One doctor is even specialty, another specialty. So all will have
yes,
a good number of patients. That's what I think.
yes, definitely, sir. So
Yeah.
like once the patient is attached with you, that specialty, then at the same time his family, his relatives are getting attached to you. And if
Definitely.
he's convinced with one particular disease, then they will ask, "Acha, आप इसको भी treatment दे सकते हो क्या?" Then you will say, "Okay, yes, we can do that." So in that way, we
Yeah.
can really get good number of
You
patients.
can develop a good number. Definitely.
Yes,
So
thank
like
you.
that, you see, one diabetes there, rheumatology is there, or bone fracture ligament tear is there. Like that, anorectal is there. There are many diseases are there. One group of you can take one group of disease.
Yes.
Single disease you can take one group of it.
Yeah, one system we can take or one disease we can take.
Yeah, that is up to you. But only one thing is that doctor should be should have good knowledge about that disease. That's very important.
Yes.
Both in Ayurveda as well as Western
Yes.
medicine knowledge also he should have. How acute cases, how it is being treated in Western medicine also you should know. If any patient needed some intervention from Western side, you can refer such cases in a particular stage. You may need where modern medicines may be needed, then you can refer such cases. So that also helps the patient, you see.
Yes, yes.
Your mind always should be to help the patient. If you have that enthusiasm or concern for a patient, naturally patient will develop for you.
The trust is built up in his mind about
Yeah, that's very important. So
Yes.
instead of wasting his time, better to make him have a good medicines. Either Ayurveda or if needed Western medicine or homeopathy, anything is needed, you can refer such case. So
Right.
naturally, that patient will have attachment with you. Yeah, practice will help.
I'm taking this discussion to the other part. What do you think is the current scenario of Ayurveda in India and at a global platform? Where Ayurveda stands right now?
Actually, Ayurveda, there are good practitioners like just like Ekalavya, so they are there. And I think most of good practitioners are self-made practitioners. I think we have scarcity of Dronacharyas who can impart the knowledge to the Shishyas.
Yeah.
This is lacking. I think this Ayurveda education system is very poor. So that we are not getting good number of good young Ayurveda doctors. That's what I see. Last 20 years in my clinic, I think I have trained more than 2,000 doctors. Every 1 or 2 months, 5-10 doctors come to my clinic and get trained. They will be here with me for 1 month or 2 months. So I give them basics of Ayurveda, how it should be applied in practice. That I do for last 20 days, 20 years.
Oh, wow.
So I think now almost it become 2,000, more than 2,000 doctors. They are practicing all over India now, with the Ayurveda concept.
That is really
So I think,
commendable.
yeah,
That is really
Yeah.
commendable thing.
I think this type of this one imparting knowledge should be there in the colleges also. This college syllabus, that is more of by hearting the things instead of understanding the thing, how it should be applied in a clinical practice. I don't know why it happens. And maybe less number of patients, that is why it may be like that. Or syllabus itself is not good. That may be why we can't blame the teachers. Teachers are very good teachers are there.
Right.
That way of that syllabus presentation may be the reason for that. I think so. Because I have studied like that. When we came out of the college, we had the same idea. We didn't have any idea of what is Ayurveda, how it should be practiced. Slowly, by seeing the number of patients getting failure and getting success in some patients, slowly we understood this way of Ayurveda, what we understood is wrong. So that after again reading or trial and error, usually I made a success in this type of Ayurveda practice.
So other than clinical knowledge, what other skills are required for a practitioner? So which kind of skills he should have?
I think the best thing to study Ayurveda is you should work with some guru. That's very important. Any specialty you is there, you work with some guru who is practicing. So then we can understand a practical understanding of the theory, how it should be applied in cases, how it should be given. The person who is practicing according to Ayurveda concepts, such gurus are there. If you go and study along with him, naturally we gain the knowledge. We can practice like that. But because Ayurveda is a pratyaksha pramana, like that we have to understand. By experience, we will understand the concepts of Ayurveda. That is why you should have first-hand experience. That can be get only from gurus. Otherwise, you have to do trial and error. You should become ekalavya. There may be many loss of the patients. You may need another 5 to 10 years.
Yes.
Nowadays, young doctors are very difficult to spend that much time. 5 to 10 years you should spend without number of patients.
Right.
But once you are able to do it, stick to Ayurveda, naturally after 5 to 10 years you develop very good Ayurveda. But if you have a guru,
Yes,
I think your practice will improve within a year.
Definitely.
That's
And sir, like now we are talking at the national and international level, like Ayurveda is quite accepted all over the world, but not as a first line of treatment, even not in India also. So how can we help to get that prosperity and dignity to the Ayurveda, that it should be accepted as a medicines and as a first line of treatment? So what do you think?
now I think most of them are accepting this Ayurveda as an wellness specialty.
Yes.
Most of them they accept it as an wellness. Not as treatment protocol for any disease. If any disease goes first, he goes to an allopathy doctors. If there is a failure, they come to Ayurveda.
Right.
But if you practice and give the good result to the patients relative get the same disease, they come to you in the first place to you for a treatment. They will not go to allopathy doctor, then they come. Why they are going to allopathy doctors? Because there is no good Ayurveda doctors who can treat in that acute stage, that early stage. Naturally, they don't have faith in our system. They go to allopathy doctors. If there is a failure, then they try. Let us try Ayurveda like that. But once you give good treatment and they get good result, his relatives, if they get the same disease, naturally they will come to you as in the first place. Then the Ayurveda doctors should be good in diagnosing and treating that patients in acute state. Then only I think you get a success. Ayurveda can be, if all of the doctors in our India practice like that, then Ayurveda will get good this one acceptance in the
So they
society.
can create many cases, many evidences, and
Yeah.
many success stories. So if one Ayurveda doctor practice one specialty, so he will have probably at the end of 5-10 years, he will have many number of cases.
Yeah, definitely you can develop a success story, but by advertising it may not help that much. But the relatives of doctor patients who are there, that area definitely they will come to you in the first place. That's what I have seen in my practice. Yeah. First place, if anything happens, they come to me only. And if I tell it is not possible, they go to other doctors.
Right.
That is what happens. If you give good success to the patient, his relative, definitely they come to you with first place. That's what happens.
Okay, sir. So it is really nice talking to you, and you are like we are really lucky to have like you have shared your experiences with us. Now we are at the closing end of this interview. So I would request you like what will be your advice to the newcomers, and like what 3 things they should remember to start their specialty practice.
As I already said, first thing they should have good knowledge about which specialty you want to learn. You should have knowledge of both system, both Ayurveda and Western medicine. Advancement, what happened, all these things have good knowledge. And another thing is, if you have a good, find out any good guru who is practicing that specialty, work with him for 1 year, 6 months, 1 year. This is another thing is very important. If I think these 2 things are sufficient, one is guru and one knowledge. There definitely you can have practice. So I think for this, for gaining knowledge, I think if our Ayurveda syllabus, if they modify for, if they ask any practitioners how syllabus should be, I think it is better. Instead of they are getting advice from only academicians, giving them the advice how syllabus should be. At the same time, they should have inputs from successful practitioners how syllabus should be.
Yes.
I think then the syllabus of Ayurveda may improve.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, well said, sir. So I just want to mention here, with this point of specialty practice, I have started this mission of empowering 10,000 Ayurveda graduates. So I have launched a course. It is an online course. It is a pre-recorded videos, and this is my mission to empower young Ayurveda doctors to get enhanced skills on the all platforms. If they want to stand at a global platform, they should have good communication skill. They should have fluency of language. They should have the online presence well, and there are many aspects. So I have designed that course. So I hope that course will help many Ayurveda graduates. So few words for that course, sir, from you.
That is good. You should have this communication skills. See, communication skill is the first thing any doctor should have a private practice.
Right.
If there is no communication skill, you will not develop your practice at all. One is confidence, another one is a communication skill. Patient should not feel you are not confident of treating it. This is one thing. Another thing is they must be there. You should communicate what is in your mind to the patient proper. Otherwise, patient will not get proper treatment. These 2 things are very important. I think what you did, these things, imparting the knowledge and training the students for communicating skills. These things are very good. You continue it. I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. And I really appreciate your presence over here. And I wish you, you keep showering your knowledge, your blessings to all the young generation of Ayurveda. And we will really try hard to match to your efforts and expectations in the field of specialty. So thank you so much, sir, for giving your precious time. Hope to see you soon in another live or probably at your center. So I would really like to visit you. And I really recommend everyone, please go and try to visit Sir's center. He has founded a big hospital, the Sushruta Hospital of 25 bedded and practicing with the specialty of anorectal diseases. So try to visit it once so that you will get inspired from his work and dedications. So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, namaste. Bye.